here's Sam Seder from the Majority Report, and in this image, she's talking to I think her name is Francesca Fiorentini, and she has a podcast called the Bituation Room, which is really funny. But so what happened was there was some lawsuits, and people got cut off some of the student debt, and Sam's going to explain this. We're going to play this a little bit quick because I want to get through it pretty quick, but Sam's going to explain this, and we're gonna clip over to somebody really, really not intelligent saying the same thing, only worse.
Entity owns and services federally guaranteed student loans. They will face economic harm from the debt relief program.
Oh, baby!
In Nebraska, some of the pension fund is in one of these private services, and so the Biden administration had a choice, which was to allow this suit to continue and perhaps either delay, certainly I imagine delay, but completely undercut the ability of the administration to provide student debt relief to 45 million Americans. They basically made the decision to cordon off those people who are in that situation where they have private loans that are serviced by private entities, and basically say you cannot consolidate them going forward. And by the administration counts, like the cohort of people who exist in there is being reported as about 3 to 4 million people. Mm-hmm. So it reduced the number of people who were getting student loan debt relief by 3 or 4 million people. However, apparently within that cohort, like 1.5 million of them have other federally owned student loans, which they will get the debt relief on there. And 1.6 million borrowers will have, those are the direct loans. Another 1.5 have a certain type of privately held federal loan, an FFEL consolidation loan. Theirs would have been very difficult to relieve anyways. So according to the administration, there's 770,000 borrowers who are going to be directly affected, and they're going to lose their loan forgiveness because of this Republican lawsuit, or at least the Biden administration's response to it. Frankly, I mean, I would imagine the lawyers in the Biden administration have figured out this is the best way to preserve the loan relief for 41, 42 million Americans.
Okay, so let me check in. So did you catch all that? So what happened was there were a couple lawsuits. There was one in Texas that was really embarrassing. It all blew up. But then Missouri and Nebraska Republicans filed a lawsuit to try and stop the Biden executive order that we just talked about. And the argument is, if you go to court, you have to have what's called standing, right? Which means I have to have a reason. I have to show that there's harm being done to me. So the harm in this case is that banks in Missouri and Nebraska they buy our student loans in packages, and they sell them as investments to pension funds, and kind of like what happened during the housing crisis with CDOs and all that shit.
Right.
And so the banks are going to, if you pay off these loans, the banks aren't going to get the interest on them, so the value of the assets is going to go down. So the banks and the pensions would potentially lose money. The pensions probably wouldn't, because they could just sell them and buy new shit, right? But they could potentially lose money. Now, whether or not they'd win this in court is speculative. I doubt it. But what it would do is you'd have to go to a court proceeding, which could take a year, 2 years, which means, as Sam was saying, 40 plus million, almost 44 million people wouldn't get their student debt relief because it would be delayed until it was resolved in a court situation. So what the administration, the Biden administration, what the lawyers decided to do and what they agreed to do was these 770,000 people that this directly affects, right? We're just, who have these specific types of loans, we're just going to cut that. So it's basically triage. We're going to do 770,000 people that we were trying to do it for. We're not now because we don't want to delay for 2 years, giving these 44 million other people the debt relief. Now, I think that was a smart decision based on the circumstances. But as Sam points out, this is the conservative Republicans who are trying to stop this altogether, which we just watched the Fox people fucking prove to you that they don't like this, right? Now let's watch a really fun conservative Republican completely misinterpret exactly what Sam just explained.
Your favorite and mine.
My favorite person.
President Biden announced that he's going to forgive $10,000 worth of student loans for anyone making less than $125,000. Court cases have ensued, questioning whether he has the constitutional right to actually do that. And of course, he did this before
He does,
midterms,
by the way.
Which was a politically genius
Yeah,
move, by the way, to try to.
What was that?
I said, yeah, you already covered that.
Yeah.
Why he did. Give us your really fabulous elevator speech. If you didn't catch that, go back and listen to the elevator speech.
Elevator speech, he does.
Get everybody's eye off the ball of the failing economy and so forth, because looks most.
By the way, so this is Dave Ramsey on the right. On the left is Christina Ellis.
Yeah, she's kind of a new face to the whole Ramsey network situation, I believe.
Yeah, they got a minority.
Well,
that's new for them. I'm proud of them.
No, that's not new for them. They've had them before, but
they usually fire them. But anyway, he hasn't had a minority for a while. I'm just saying.
There we go.
Okay.
And she is their new student loan expert. Everybody apparently has their area where they're an expert, I guess, and she's their student loan person.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna get into her in a minute.
All right, well, let's see. I haven't really seen her yet.
Your political leaning that the Dems are going to take a bloodbath at the midterms, and so he's doing anything he can to get the eye.
I want to point this out too. Right now, the polls show the Democrats are probably going to take the Senate easily. They might lose the House. I think it's a 70-30 spread on that one, but that's not a bloodbath if you take the Senate. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Clearly we're reading different news.
And then this comes out, and this is not from right-leaning media source, from a left-leaning media source called NPR.
NPR is not left. That bothers. NPR is not a left-leaning source. National Public Radio is not. It's. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah, they're saying that now up to 800,000 borrowers who thought they were going to be part of the relief may not be part of the relief now. Those are borrowers who had Perkins loans and FFEL loans that were issued and managed by private banks, but not guaranteed by the federal.
But guaranteed. They're guaranteed by the federal government. But
yes, but guaranteed, sorry.
Yeah. But were once the mainstay of the federal loan programs and until the FFEL program ended in 2010. So if you've got an old student loan prior to 2010, in a remarkable reversal that will affect the fortunes of many student loan borrowers, the U.S. Department of Education has quietly changed its guidance around who qualifies for President Biden's sweeping student debt relief plan. This is from NPR. Today, according to federal data, more than 4 million borrowers still have commercially held FFEL loans. Until Thursday, the department's own website advised these borrowers that they could consolidate these loans into federal direct loans and thereby qualify for relief under Biden's debt cancellation program. But on Thursday, the department quietly changed that language.
I want to qualify this too, real quick. So this is Dave Ramsey, financial expert. I think he's Jesus Christ's personal financial planner. You notice how he just skims right past the details of what this does and who it affects.
Right. Doesn't do any of that.
I mean, dude, you're in finance. Getting in the weeds is what the fucking point is. But he just skips right over it. I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, legitimately figure out who it helps and who it doesn't, or at least try.
Yeah, well, he doesn't care.
So as not to raise a ruckus in the media. We read it. We read it. So the quiet part goes away now. Because there's 22 million of you out there, so we just made the quiet part go away. You just found out that they did this. I told you when this happened that it was not going to work exactly the way they said it was going to work. And besides that, they haven't even said.
I want to qualify this too. He didn't say it wasn't going to work the way it was going to work. He said he thought it would fail in lawsuits. He thought there'd be no debt relief.
That is true. That was his statement.
And okay, 770,000 got kicked off to save 44 million. And now he's taking a victory lap. All right, yeah, way to go. It's like the kid that loses at chess and goes, well, yeah, but I got your pawn. Yeah, good job, buddy.
How it's going to work completely. I told you that the Department of Education had no notice ahead of time. StudentLoan.gov had no notice ahead of time that there was going to be a student loan forgiveness announced out of the White House. If you're going to announce a sweeping program that the federal government is going to have to institute, prior to announcing it, you normally, if you're the president, would let the departments know that are going.
Yeah, that was the notice.
And for all the times he's been the president.
But that was I mean, it wasn't going to happen that day when he announced it. He announced it was going to happen by the end of the year.
Right. He didn't say, today, on this day, you're going to log in and see all of your balances have been. No, that was not what happened.
Right. Well, you didn't notice studented.gov. But I did. I just noticed. I just gave them notice. I just said it.
Along with the American people.
We released a press release. We sent it to all the departments. But this is the kind of guy where what was that movie? Remember the movie Clueless?
Yeah.
With Alicia Silverstone. There's the bit where her father is yelling at her. He's like, "Get in here!" And she's like, "What?" He's like, "What is this?" And she's looking at second notice of 2 outstanding speeding tickets, right? And she's like, I don't remember getting a first notice. Her father's like, the ticket was the first notice. You idiot.
Yeah, this was the notice.
They had no knowledge of it. Hint, everyone knew it wasn't really going to happen.
But it does happening.
The beginnings of the unravelings.
You idiot.
An administration official tells NPR that roughly 800,000 borrowers would now quietly be excluded from relief. I added the quietly because quietly is all in this NPR article, although it's not quiet anymore. See, you put it out.
Right. Well, and I think that's the key, is that we kind of need to put that in the megaphone, because these are people who are already breathing sighs of relief that they're already counting on this forgiveness, because Biden sounded confident it was going to happen.
Yeah.
It's a little nerve-wracking.
It's so sad.
It's very sad.
It's so sad. You know what screws up your hope? You know what will steal your hope? When you place your hope in the wrong things.
No. Let's skip that for a sec. So I like those two. So you got Sam Seder, not a financial expert, not a political expert, but he is a political commentator. He runs a very dry political show. What does Sam do? He explains it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Dave didn't explain shit. He just explained, you're not going to get it. Oh, they didn't know. See, I told you. I was right. I know it all.
Yeah, it's pretty misleading, right? Mislead the viewers into sharing your opinion with something, which, I mean, to a certain degree, we want people to agree with us, right? But without giving them really any information to be able to think for themselves, or at least not nearly enough information to think for themselves. That doesn't seem fair.
Well, right. He doesn't tell the story. What does he do? He tells you the conclusion. And then he tells you, see, I predicted it. I was right. Even though that's not occurred in reality. And even the way he tells it, he doesn't tell you why it happened. He doesn't tell you, well, who sued? On what grounds? Why did they do it? Sam explains all that in detail. It was a Republican lawsuit to try and quash the whole thing, and the Biden administration had to make a tactical decision.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He's just blaming Biden. And the thing about this is Biden really doesn't have a whole lot to do with this decision. This is the attorneys. You know, his administration just has to go, well, if that's what you advise, then that's what we got to do. But that's kind of the point with this whole thing. It's like, and this is why I love Dave Ramsey, because he's such a scumbag. Everything is always about, I'm right, and I knew it, and da-da-da, and he tries to morally equivocate, but he never explains why. Why is it good? Why is it bad? Why are we doing this? Oh, and I have a fun gift for you. For the next video, boys and girls, we're not going to do as much. We're going to try and spread this out. So we're going to do like detailed stuff where we educate you, and then we're going to just rip on people. we're going to like hopscotch it. We're going to leapfrog it, right? We're going to do one at a time. But yeah, so the next one, yeah, Lacey and I have a bunch of stuff. Oh, it's so good. I'm so excited for next week. You have no idea.
I'm excited for next week too.
Oh my gosh.